Okay, Glitcher would like me to tell you the reason why the BBC should be shut down, seeing as no one's doing anything about it. And I mean shut down. Royal Opera House. See how someone has unfurled this flag on stage. Okay. Now that's not the BBC's fault directly. Okay. But by allowing the BBC to still run, because a performance was put on at Glastonbury and allowed to go on air, even if just for a second. And the BBC has not been shut down. What's going to happen, because a spell was done that day, what's going to happen is more people are going to start on stages. Because the man has not been, as far as I know, charged with any crime that did this. This singer, songwriter, artist, whoever he was, he hasn't been charged with any crime. When it was a crime, it was a hate crime, let's be honest. What happened at Glastonbury was a hate crime. It was a chant. It was a spell. And most of all, it was a hate crime. It was a hate crime. 103, 104 on my timer. Whoever that was in Glastonbury, I don't know his name. I don't want to know his name. What he did, that was a hate crime on stage, which is going to escalate more crimes to do with war. And it's going to escalate more people on stage doing things like was done in Glastonbury, because the BBC was not made an example of. Resigning, stepping down, losing your job is not good enough, I'm afraid, BBC, because you've been doing this for years. And the man on stage was not made an example of. And I mean made an example of. 140, 141 on my timer. So now what's happened at the Royal Opera House, expect this shit to continue. Expect more crimes to do with war, to do with religion, to do with hate. Because what was happening on that Glastonbury stage was a hate crime. And because this man has got a microphone in his bloody hand, 0202 on my timer, he's allowed to get away with it. And because the BBC are the BBC, they're allowed to get away with it. Hate crimes. Monkey see, monkey do. Glastonbury, Royal Opera House, 0220 221 222 on my timer. Where do you think is next? And what do you think is next? How much do you think this is going to escalate? And into what exactly? I'll tell you into what. Into years down the line, more leaders thinking it's okay to go, look at my flag. This is my space. This is my bit of country, my religion. And I'm the only one that is important. And I'm going to kill you if you don't agree with me. Man on stage at Glastonbury. Well done, sir. BBC, well done. Justice system to not make an example of these people, but you go around making an example of our young children, our young adult children that can't help the way they've been because they never got any fucking support. But superstars and the BBC that have got a whole network and team of people around them to say, for God's sake, whatever you do, don't do anything dumb. They do not get held responsible, no? They do not get made an example of. So this is what our young children are going to grow up and do. And you can bet your life that if one of my kids or one of someone else's normal common people kids went and done something what they have done, we'd be in damn prison for it. Because 345 on my timer, because what happened in Glastonbury was a fucking hate crime. And that is how wars begin. And that is how people die. And that's exactly what that man wanted. And it's exactly what the BBC knew was going to happen. 0404 on my timer. And not one of them or one of you give a shit.